Ladies, gentlemen, sinners, saints, put your drinks down for half a second. Light whatever you brought with you. Cigars, smokes, joints, coffee, whiskey. I don't judge. You didn't come here for fairy tales. You came for truth, steel, and motor oil. This ain't clickbait. This ain't influencer nonsense. This is real biker news told by a man who's lived it, seen it, and survived it. From the streets to the clubhouse, from the old guard to the new blood. Welcome to Biker News Canada. And the man behind the curtain, the voice they don't want quiet, the pen that wrote playpen, the mind that never shut off, Bob Jarvie. So sit back. Let the truth hit harder than a straight pipe at midnight. And remember, once you hear it here, you can't unhear it. Now here's Bob.
No, it wasn't. You got that all wrong. No. There's that one. It's the real one. Okay, let's do this one. Go. Oh, hey, I'm already live over there on YouTube. Over here talking to myself. Hang on, guys. Let me get the tiki-talkie running. We'll get this thing underway. Hey, ho, ho. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, everybody, but thanks for popping in. Good to see everyone out there tonight. Bob's back, Biker News Canada. So, QQ know which one. And a few other people have asked me recently if we will talk about the very first biker war that happened in Quebec. And I know most people are going to think it's the Rock Machine and the Hells Angel one. That one made a lot of news and all that. But that ain't the first one. I think almost as long as there's been motorcycle clubs in Quebec, there's been beef. But anyways, let's go through the chat real quick and say hello to everybody, and then we'll get this thing going. I got my popcorn right on. SYLSH. Randy, good to see you tonight, Randy. Should be a good one tonight, brother. And we got QQ, know which one. Hello, brother. And this show's actually for you, my friend. And we got Handy Pelly. Good to see you tonight, bro. Newfoundland, good to see you too, bro. Thanks for dropping in, Barbie. And it's always a pleasure to have Barbie in the house. Shelving in the hammer, always good to see you too, bro. And as Kirk, good to see you. As Kirk, I don't know if I met you in the chat before, but thanks for popping in. We got Mouth of the South in the house. Good to see you tonight, my friend. And where are we? Yeah, we're just starting Mouth of the South. I've been working like an MFer, I guess. And I just got in off the highway. Hey, Bruce, good to see you tonight, my brother. I wasn't sure if this would end up being too late to run a show, but as I can see, there's some pretty good response, and I appreciate that, you guys. I really do. Like you say, you guys make this show. And the TikTok people, too. You guys are coming in pretty good lately. And I appreciate all you guys who drop in and check it out. We got Calvin, Marcus, Dave Smith, Kenny, Raptors. Thank you very much, everybody on TikTok for dropping in and checking out this Biker News Canada. Generally, I try to keep this show about the good stuff the bikers do, but it's the middle of winter, and there's not so many things to talk about right now. We'll do a show later in the week about that. There's some stuff coming up in February, some fundraisers, etc. So we'll do that later in the week. I've been moving, working, and teaching, so I've been a busy guy. But anyways, I got to keep the shows coming to you. We got Grant in the house. Good to see you tonight, Grant. TRC 275 coming in from Lake St. Martin, First Nation, Manitoba. Hope you're staying warm up there, brother. He's a chilly one. I'm retired. Yeah, I got good for you. Yeah, it's too cold to go outside and do anything, man. I need to share to Rumble. Oh, I've never tried to get over to Rumble either. I should try that. Rumble, and what was the other one we were talking about the other day? Patreon, were we? Like I say, I gotta have some time. I'm moving, so once I get moved, I gotta get the system set up again, and hopefully I can take a breath for a day or two, and I'll look into more and more of this, what StreamYard has to offer. For now, I got YouTube and the Facebook group covered, and TikTok on my phone. So I'm getting there, but I'd like to do the live all across all the things at the same time. I'd rather not tape it and then issue it, because you'll lose something in the translation, because a lot of time I talk to the chat and stuff like that, right? So you won't really catch that if it's a tape version. Can you do an HVAC info show sometime? I want to replace my furnace with some spinning. Yeah, I could do that. We should actually. Why not? Might actually help me get some more sales and calls and whatnot, right? Everything I'm doing these days is mostly subcontract work for bigger companies like Reliance. They kind of, in Ontario, they took over. I can beat that monitor in a second. Give it a but anyways, again, it keeps me working. 24 watching, 9 likes. Make sure you remember what Bruce said. Hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing. It helps me. And I want to thank everyone also who's stopped and shot me a donation. Last one came from Laird. Thank you, brother. And every little bit helps me considerably. So thank you. And the people lately who've been ordering books too. I want to thank you about that. So if you don't know, I got the book One Night at the Playpen. It's about my time in one of Canada's biggest motorcycle clubs, one of the biggest in the world. And it's my time. And names and stuff like that are changed for obvious reasons. Get a hold of me on any social media, private messaging, Messenger, stuff like that. And you send the e-transfer I'll tell you the e-transfer, and we'll do it. And if you want, the book's $30, and if you want the book in the patch, it's $40, and if you want the patch loan, $10.30. So there we go. All right, let's get on with it. So, like I say, we want to talk about the first biker war, as they call it. It sells papers, I guess. And I guess if you're there at the time and things are going boom, boom, boom around you, it's a war. So, like you say, most people are going to say, well, it was a rock machine thing, and heck no. So back in 77, and we're going a long time back. Like I was only 10 years old back then. So back in 77, the Outlaw Motorcycle Club, based in Chicago, and that strong chapters in Detroit, decided that they were going to come on across the border. They met some Canadian bikers, and they all got along, and they dug it, and they figured it was time. So the big clubs, the Angels, the Outlaws, Banditos, were getting themselves well established throughout the States, and decided it was time to take the show out of the country. So Canada was an obvious good starting point. And of course, a bunch of clubs went to Europe as well, right? So the Outlaws thought for a minute there they were going to patch over the whole Satan's Choice Club at the time, but it didn't come together quite as they planned. But they patched over, I think, 5 or 7 chapters: Sault Ste. Marie, Windsor, Ottawa, Hamilton, and Montreal. So 5. And I might have missed something, but that's what I can recall. I'm doing this off my head, this show. So as I said in that list, one of them was Montreal, which is, it's a great city. It's a fucking awesome city. Big nightlife, lots of things going on, a big port and there's already They had the Rizzutos there already, and they had the Irish guys on the West End there already. So there's people to work with, and there's lots of things going on. And the motorcycles club scene was starting to flourish in Canada, right? Satan's Choice had a great big club with chapters all over the place. They were actually one of the biggest 1% motorcycle clubs in the world, and it was all Canadian based. And it was kind of a bummer that the Outlaws came and snatched some of their chapters, but that is, in all honesty, how the motorcycle club thing goes, right? If a big club approaches and a smaller club, like, hey, maybe it'd be cool to be international. And everyone's got to make up their own minds what's best for them, and that's what they do. So you can't get mad at nobody, but it's the way it went. So, and then in Quebec, there was the bigger club. I think they had more than one chapter in Quebec at the time. Was the Popeyes MC, and so they knew some of the members of the Hells Angels from the States. So pretty much at the same time as the Outlaws were coming in with Satan's Choice, the Angels were coming in with the Popeyes. So right away, there was the two big clubs, already had beef from the States from God knows when, something about a woman probably somewhere, right? It's one of those beefs that's been going on for ages. And, I wonder how many people really remember what it started over. But anyways, so there it went. It was kind of on already. You know what I mean? Crazy, crazy. Like I say, it's almost like as soon as there was more than one motorcycle club in Quebec, there was beef. And it almost seems like that. So let me say a couple more hellos here. Randy's from Kitchener. I didn't know that. Randy, good to know you, bro. Vegan Cannibal came in. Good to see you, brother. Always good to see you, bro. And yeah, man, you got it. I don't know the band Cannibal. Okay, I'll go back to that one. Another one. You got a Cannibal Corpse tattoo on my arm. Huh. Oh, you know the band. Okay, it's a band. Okay, I get you. And who else came in? Edge came in. Good to see you tonight, bro. And Black Legionnaire from Down Under. I'm glad you made it tonight, bro. So I'm going to give you what Wikipedia's got, and then we'll sift through and we'll get to the truth. So Wikipedia is saying the Satan's Choice Popeyes War was the first major outlaw motorcycle conflict in Canada's history, involving the country's two largest motorcycle clubs, Satan's Choice from Ontario and the Popeyes from Quebec. The conflict lasted from 74 till 76. So this is even before the Outlaws patched in the Choice chapter, and saw two motorcycle clubs battle for dominance in the country. The conflict, misleadingly known as in Canada as the First Biker War, would begin a year later in 77. So that's like I say. So this conflict would set the stage for the First Biker War. So it's funny because it kind of set the tone in how things go down in Quebec between clubs and, I don't want to say criminal groups, but between criminal groups too. Because if anyone watches Crafty One, his channel does all the underworld news from Quebec. And right now it's street gangs versus motorcycle clubs with some mafia guys thrown in the mix. And it's pretty crazy over there. There's, they're burning buildings, they're shooting up cars and whatever's, and they're always going for it over there, for whatever reason. That's the way it is over there. Good evening, Snap. Good to see you tonight, brother. Always a pleasure, my man. Do the Popeyes eat spinach? They might have, man. They might have. Sweet Pea have a choice. How do I remember going to get Lotto for Drago? Oh, I remember Drago in Kitchener, wasn't he? He had one of the strip joints in Kitchener. I remember him. So anyways, let's get back onto this. Well, Wikipedia is telling us about it. So the First Biker War involves Satan's Choice and Popeyes. They were Canada's largest biker clubs at the time, engaging one another. Support for the conflict was divided between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, as they each backed their respective allies and prepared for their expansion north. Notorious Quebecois biker and hitman Yves Trudeau would establish himself during this conflict. Oh, he goes that far back, this Yves Trudeau cat. Okay. Is one of Canada's most dangerous criminals. So I'm sure most of the people have heard the story about this Yves Trudeau guy. He was supposed to be one of the major button men for the HA in Quebec. And after it all came down and everything came out in the wash and he was under arrest, he snitched. So there's that. You know what I mean? But he did, according to the books and whatever, he did lots of things out there. Lots of not very nice things out there. So who else we got? We got Craig Russo in the house. Good to see you tonight, Craig. Always a pleasure, my brother. And the dangerous ones are the ones they don't know about. Yeah, I think so too, Newfoundland. Exactly. They don't write books about the real dangerous ones because they don't even know that they exist. So in 1974, Cecil Kirby and Grant Mother McEwen, the president of the St. Joyce St. Catherine chapter, traveled to Fort Lauderdale, Florida to meet with the outlaws. And McEwen became especially close and was most vocal advocate within St. Joyce of closer ties with the American Club. St. Joyce leader Bernie Gwendon ultimately forged an alliance with the Outlaws in June of 1975. Under the terms of the agreement in early 1975, the Outlaws were the exclusive distributors in the United States of the PCP and methamphetamine. What? Manufactured by Choice members. Come on now. I think all that sort of stuff might be meth. But hey, who knows? I wasn't there. So, because I know that Bernie got taken down at some point in his life for some sort of operation dealing with up north, and it was about things that go fast, and it was a methed up situation. But he did do a fair amount of years for that along his career. So this could be worked into that. So they're talking about numbers and prices. We won't talk about that. And the Outlaws used to, back in the day, make money from that stuff too. So who knows? So it says the Choice gained the access to the largest sport network of clubs through the States and beyond, opening the club to new business opportunities and possibly even reinforcements in the event of another club war. So meanwhile, the Outlaws gained a strong ally in Ontario, precluding any expansion by the Hells Angels in the region. So that's kind of how they kept the Hells Angels out of Ontario for all them years, and it worked for a long time. Furthermore, the Outlaws gained a way to challenge the supremacy of the Hells Angels in Quebec through access to the Montreal chapter of Satan's Choice. This led to the Montreal chapter and their allies, the Devil Disciples, into open conflict with the Hells Angels back Popeyes in 1974. So we're going way back, eh? The Hells Angels began to plan for an expansion north and began scouting the Popeyes. Popeyes were regarded to be the most violent bike club in Quebec and were notorious for engaging in gratuitous and sadistic violence, which is part of the reason why they were later chosen by the Hells Angels for recruitment. Well, so they say. How are these guys that write this stuff? No, but anyways, I've heard that too. They were pretty wild, right? So it was what it was. Maybe do a 2 to 3 hour swap meet for old and new school parts. Hey man, that's not a bad idea. I can talk to my buddy. And we got Ricky Park in the house. Good to see you, brother. I can talk to my buddy who's got tons of parts, and I'll see what I can put together for that, bro. That's not a bad idea. So it goes on, the Devil's Disciples aligned itself with the Montreal chapters of Satan's Choice. And after the Popeyes went after the Devil's Disciples, Howard Pigpen Barry, an enforcer for Satan's Choice, opened fire on the clubhouse of the Popeyes with a sawed-off .303 with a 10-round clip. Multiple brawls and assaults occurred between the two groups, and one of the guys from the Choice caught some lead, but thankfully survived. As the conflict heated up, the other organized crime groups in the province would be pulled in. The Irish West End gang would take the side of the Choice, and the Dubois brothers backed the Popeyes. Yves Trudeau, the ace assassin for the Popeyes, first rose to prominence during their struggle, killing several Devil's disciples. The Popeyes, who acted as a muscle for the Dubois brothers, fearing a full-on onslaught from state's Choice chapters in Ontario, Popeyes mostly targeted its ally, the Devil Disciples, and had killed 15 members of the club between 74 and 76. Wow. With 4 members of the Popeyes dying as well. Wow. The events caused the Devil Disciple to disband in 76 and a crackdown by police, which is obviously, that's inevitable, right? And so although Sage's Choice managed to gain territory in Dam's Popeye, raised in Ontario dealt blows to the club during the conflict, and in the end, the Devil Disciple disbanded. So the Popeyes earned the rights to distribute it in Montreal until the Dubois brothers were arrested and the club was cut off from its largest supplier. And that weakened the Popeye status. And then in 77, the Popeyes turned into Hell's Angels, and the Choice, those particular Choice chapters, turned into outlaws. Now, this is a crazy thing. Scrap Iron, good to see you, bro. Is I came along 20 years after this, and there was an outlaw chapter in Montreal when I came along. So the one member that I was hanging out with went down to Montreal, and he had a tool with him, and he had a briefcase of pharmaceuticals. They got pulled over, and he ended up getting arrested. So his old lady and I went down the next day just to arrange a lawyer, see what the odds are of him getting bail, et cetera, et cetera. I spent the night in the Outlaw Clubhouse, and yeah, you're right. What good is war? Absolutely nothing. And there was, like you say, there was a chapter. I met the guys, cool guys and all that. But I tell you what, man, and by this time, the Hells Angels had exploded across Quebec, and they were big and they were powerful, and they didn't want no more outlaw club being in their province at all. So after what happened with him in the court, I stayed 2-3 days. We stayed a few days, and basically he wasn't getting bail, so it was what it was. We got him a lawyer and did the thing, right? And it went back to Ontario. Inner Side, good to meet you. All the way from Australia, another Australian brother. Right on, man. Good to meet you, bro. Thanks for popping in. So after that, one by one, the guys from the Outlaws were getting picked off. You know, like one guy had a tattoo shop. Somebody rolled in there between appointments and gave it to him. One guy had a bike shop, and one of the bikes that he had to bring in or something like that was wired, and when he touched it, it went kablooey, and like it was brutal, man. And then now fast forward a few years, now I'm a member, and as far as I recall, only a couple of the guys from the Montreal chapter got out alive. And I remember one of them landed in our city for a while. And I tell you, after all them years, man, he was, you know, he was like a soldier with the worst case of PTSD, man. Like he really was hard to figure out and hard to make sure he was good and make sure he was taken care of. You know what I mean? All he wanted to do mostly was get wasted and forget about what happened back there. So he lost all of his good brothers, and, you know, he made it through and ended up in Ontario. But yeah, eventually the Outlaws shut down that chapter in Montreal. Actually, you know, right around the time I was becoming a member, it just, you know, kind of got packed up, and that was the end of it. You know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, territory expansion always sounds like a good idea for any club. Everybody wants more territory and something more things to put on a bottom rocker and all that. But sometimes the price is too high. You know what I mean? And when your club's in a shooting war, let's say, the heat is so incredible. You can't get any other of your work done if you do other things, right? And it's it's a hard way to live. You know what I mean? It's a very hard way to live. So, but that's kind of set how the rest of things, because then if you jump forward to what was going on with the rock machine war, and that thing lasted years, and there's a lot of guys with kablooey and a lot of good people, were gone as a result of that war. And and all the heat and shit it brought to the 81 club, and Boucher ended up in jail and all that shit, and then by the time at the end of that, they were kind of, you're not really with us anymore, dude. Look at all the heat you brought us, and telling people to get rid of jail guards and shit, just because you can, just to show that it can be done, so don't fuck with us. Like, that's pretty severe, man. So, and then, like you say, that kind of set the tone for how things go in Quebec, and they've never really slowed down from back then of how they deal with conflict, right? We got Steve from Havelock. Good to see you tonight, brother. Always a pleasure. Yeah, you're never late. I believe the Outlaws have chapters in Australia, but keep a low profile and out of trouble, which is good. Yeah, the last I knew, they had at least one chapter in Tasmania, I believe. So that was interesting. We got Biker Wolf. We got Matt. We got Sean. Good to see you guys on the TikTok side. Thanks for popping in and checking out the show. Did you ever do time in Lindsay? Lindsay. No, I never thankfully never went to Lindsay. Got popped selling Fenny to a cop. Oh, that sucks. Jeez. It's funny how they get right in there, eh? They get right in there. Gar, good to see you tonight. Cindy, you too. Kyle, Zippo, thanks for dropping in. Bulldog Crafts, you guys are awesome. Thanks for popping in and checking me out. I really do appreciate it, Keith. And Art of Kindness, thank you guys. Yeah, man. I'll keep on doing, when I do my normal show live, I'll keep coming live on TikTok for you guys too. And then we got a few more places. Try to hit the like button if you can. And all that stuff, right? I think there's some sort of gifts or something you can do on TikTok. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I comment to make you angry. Yeah, talking about the Quebec one, brother. Yeah, man. So you dropped in late, bro. Didn't the Montreal guys move to Valleyfield? I thought they were still going. Laird. It's possible that they've set themselves back over there, bro. It's possible. I'm not 100%, because I know the Outlaws are now in the Maritimes in a few places, so that's interesting. Like you say, when I was around, the Montreal chapter just kind of got packed up for what it was. Yeah, that is down under Tasmania, and then, like you say, it's 20 some years since I was in the club, but each chapter sends each other Christmas cards, and I remember that one. I remember Tasmania. Ricky, good to see you tonight, bro. I'm sore, tired, and sick of moving and sick of driving in the fucking blizzards, man. That war was dirty. They used to post the murder below the initials. Wow, eh? Yeah, and like I say, it's crazy over there. So, and even if you keep thinking about how things go over there, like you say, watch Crafty One's channel, and they're still firebombing each other's shit. The street gangs and the Italians and then whatever else, and that thing that was going on with the BFM and all that with the Angels from the Quebec City area. And unfortunately, look what it cost them, a whole bunch of arrests, right? Because, there's only so much you can run around with your tools in your possession all the time that you ain't supposed to have, They're going to cost you a deuce before eventually you get a popped with one on you or in your car or some bullshit, right? So the longer these conflicts drag on, the more guys are getting set up to go to jail. And then they're bugging everything and they're getting people on conspiracy this and conspiracy. And those conspiracy charges are fucking hard to beat, especially when they got you on fucking tape saying, hey, let's do this, right? They got you on fucking tape. And it's hard to get around it. Like hockey goals. Wow, eh? That's crazy, bro. In the paper there. Yeah, remember we used to watch Hello Press and all that. Hey, Bobby, good to see you tonight, my brother. The guy that lost his life with a girlfriend in Verdun was near where I kept my bike. My friends thought it was me. Oh, yeah. Like I say, so many of those brothers out there just fucking, man, they're there one day and not there the next. And it was a bummer for like a dude like me because I was coming into the club. I was a hang around at the time. And, you know, I stayed the night in their clubhouse. I met all the dudes, you know, met the Rottweilers, you know, the whole fucking thing. Went out to eat and everything with them. And then, you know, every so often you get the phone call at the clubhouse. It's like fucking another brother, right? And another one. It's like, oh my God, man. And it was just one at a time, and it was total elimination. It wasn't just, you know, we're going to hurt a couple of you, and then we're going to come to the table and talk. It was fucking elimination. And that's how they ran it back then. 1980 Coronation Run in Alberta. The Rebels, the King's Crew, Lucifer's Union, Hell's Angels, Satan's Angels, Grim Reapers shut down the Chosen Few from Calgary. Wow, they took that many clubs to go and shut down that other club, eh? And I'm at a club in Ireland that was called the Chosen Few. I would suspect it's not the same backpatch, but yeah, I knew some guys, and the guys I met from that Irish club were also in the IRA. They were interesting cats. Because they kept asking me where I got the 1,000-yard stare. They're like, you weren't in the Army, were you? I said, no. But when I told them what happened that night at the strip joint, they understood. Because ever since that night at the strip joint, I always put myself with my back to a wall and looking over my brother's shoulders into, you know, if we were at a bar, into the crowd or whatever. And I always worried about fucking security from that night forward, right? It just changed my mind. It just changed how I thought and how I processed everything all in one night. Fuck yeah. Yeah, that one was really hard. Anyway, on a good note, evening from Coco, BC. You too, Laird. Fucking you out in BC, good for you. Sick of winter, need to ride. You got that right, Bobby. I'm fucking damn sick of it. I remember when they bulldozed the Outlaw Clubhouse in St. Kitts. Remember that one? They went right through the back fence. Fucking crazy buggers. Man, oh man. The productions they used to do when they raided clubhouses, or when they took our chapter in London down and that Project Retire, because the clubhouse was on the one corner. And I bought the house right after the track. So it almost looked like we owned the whole street. We owned like maybe 4 or 5 houses on the street. They shut down the whole fucking street all morning long. And there was, you know, me, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 guys hanging around that were living in those buildings. But yeah, they shut down the whole street, made a big production. IRA Club definitely would not be. No, you don't want to mess with them guys. We were at, heard they tried to make London like Montreal. They did. We thought it was going to get crazy up here in London. I really did. I thought it was going to go nuts. Thought it was going to go off. And a couple of our guys were right up there doing bam, 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 fucking doing their things. Like, well, whatever. But, yeah, man. But those IRA guys I met, we're at this event. It was a biker party, right? And they had like a medway set up, like at a fair, with the BB gun, with the circle, with the star in it, and you got to shoot the star out, right? And you know how those things are. The one BB goes that way, and the next one goes that way, and the next one goes that way. Those fuckers, every one of them shot that star out. They take one shot, sight in their gun, and it was a BB gun. Boom, 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 boom. Each and every fucking one of them got that star shot out of that piece of cardboard, man. I didn't even get close. The chosen few got the worst beating, dragged out to the road and coughed. Wow, man, that's a fucking big story. I'm gonna have to look into that, Wishbone. Thanks. I'll look into that. See if we can do a show out of that one. That sounds like quite an incident, really. The fair game, yeah, man, the old fair game with the old BB guns. But yeah. So, anyways, I was asked to do a show about that one, and that one's like you say, I got some sort of couple steps away, personal. You know, personal. I lived kind of it. Thankfully, I wasn't in Montreal where all the brothers were getting picked off. But and like I say, that kind of set the tone, or maybe that's always how the tone was in Quebec. You know what I mean? Like it's a place where if someone decides that they're coming for you, because it's pretty wild over there right now, even with the Rizzutos inside. Like you say, I watched that Crafty one, and that what was that guy's name? Bobby, the Greek guy, got eliminated the other week, and then another young guy. What was his name? K something or Kevin something. He just got taken out last week or the week before, and these are all people that are go-betweens in between different outfits, right? So it's the same. It's just a deadly province to be in if you're in that sort of life. So remembering the wild ones. Remember the wild ones. Hey, thank you. QQ know which one? I appreciate you making the suggestion, man. And Mom was a legit psycho. I think so too. The city of war it is, eh? And it's so funny, that city. It's such a beautiful city. And then when it gets night out and it gets about 2, 3 in the fucking morning, nothing good happens at 2, 3 in the fucking morning, right? Even in my neighborhood where I'm living now, the last 2 weeks or 2 weeks ago, some guy got poked with something and he didn't make it. And then last weekend, someone got boom, boom, boom with something, 2 guys, and they didn't make it either. So the one guy right away and the other guy a couple days later in the hospital. So it's like my neighborhood's turning into a war zone again too. It's pretty crazy. Cops sent tow trucks to get their bikes. Just fucking horrible. Oh, wow. I am going to look into that one, Wishbone. I thank you for that one. That sounds like a mess. Sounds like a tight mess, man. Fucking wild. But like you say, guys, no, I appreciate you guys actually bringing up these things for me to make shows out of. I forgot to call Bo again, so I don't know if we're going to get Bo up for an interview tomorrow. But if we do, we do, and if we don't, we don't. It's all good. We'll figure it out. He'll be a cool guy when we get him up for an interview. And I'll check him out tomorrow and see what he says. I'm going to get on with my day because I got to go make supper. I'm starving. So I want to thank everyone for dropping in. I really do appreciate you guys, man. You guys really make this show happen. And I couldn't do it without you. I don't watch the news anymore for that reason. It's depressing. I actually quit getting, those Android boxes. You can give the guy some money so you can get your local channels. I just quit giving them the money. I don't even care what's happening anymore. Look at the phone anyway if we need to know that bad. But like you say, the news ain't that cool. So fuck it. That Bernstein guy talks a lot about Canada. Yeah, he does. Scott Bernstein there, Original Gangsters. Yeah. I don't know what to believe he says. A lot of commenters from Canada say he's lying. That's the problem. How does he know? He always says in his shows he's got moles on the law side and the bad guy side, but I don't know, man. Some of the shit he talks about, us guys up here in Canada never heard that fucking story, right? So who knows? Thank you, Randy. You stay safe out there too, brother. And Grant, thank you for that, brother. I really appreciate you, man. Thanks, Ricky. You have a great night too, my friend. Yep, and like Steve said, make sure you hit the like button on the way out, guys. Always, and make sure you guys have subscribed if you haven't yet. And Handy Pelly, you have a great night too, brother. So tomorrow night, I'll be back. We'll do another show. Like I say, we'll either interview Bo Rooney or we'll find something to talk about. We always do. And everybody on TikTok, I do appreciate you guys. Got 46 messages today off TikTok. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys for getting in there and getting involved. Greetings from Virginia, but I'm from Uruguay. Good to see you, Franco. Thanks for popping in, brother. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man. It makes my day to see all you guys coming in and getting in on the comments and all that stuff. It's awesome. I'll always do my best to answer everybody who leaves a comment or at least say hello to you. Did you ever do Time with Lindsay? No, we do. We got that one. I think I got most of it. Okay. Like I say, I appreciate all you guys. Couldn't do it without you. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Snap. You have a good night, brother. Thanks, Steve. You have a good night, brother. Merch, I don't know. I've been so busy with everything, and he's out east, and he keeps getting snowed in as he's trying to get the next step. So we'll get her, bro. We'll get her out. Banging, good night, brother. And good night. Inner Side, good to meet you, bro. Drop on anytime you see me live, man. You guys are always welcome. Everyone's always welcome. And I don't know who Holly was talking about. I'm going to look a little bit more into that before I comment on it. But at least Hollywood brought back what he said because I knew he didn't fucking look into it enough before he made that video. You know what I mean? Like I say, we had Harley on and fucking, I know it's only over a video camera, but I didn't get that vibe from him. He's straight up, he's legit. And I don't think he's out there doing a fucking flim flam. And let's all see how the summer goes. Thank you, TRC. You have a great night, brother. I thank you for popping in. After all that happened, 5 in the morning, I felt like throwing my patch. Oh, you were there, bro. Fuck me, man. That's horrible, brother. I would have too. Sometimes you see shit that you wish you didn't see your own people doing. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, why'd I see you doing that? I wish I hadn't saw that. But sometimes it's just part of being in a motorcycle club, right? And some guys let loose when you don't expect them to. And some guys never let loose at all. So it's just that world, right? I tell you, being in a 1% motorcycle club is not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, that's what I heard also, real truth, that he jumps from club to club. But like Hollywood said, maybe that says more about the clubs than it does about the man. I don't know. I don't know the guy. So, you know, I'm just relaying what Hollywood was saying. I actually watched his fucking video while I was doing a service call, fixing a furnace. I was watching him on my phone. All right, guys. Once again, let's say goodnight tonight, and we'll see y'all again tomorrow. Much love, everybody. Stay safe and stay warm out there. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Biker News Canada, where the truth hits harder than the highway wind. From Ontario to the coast, Bob Javi rolls in. Let the real news begin. He's got the camera ready, catching sparks from every ride. Club stories, charity runs, every heart